Verna Metcalfe has won a number of awards for service to the breeding industry, and she's currently a finalist in the Australian Stud and Stable Staff Awards. Verna's always good for a chat and has some great advice for those new to the breeding industry. Verna, it's always an absolute pleasure to catch up with you, and we start reminiscing about the old days in the breeding industry, and you've done so much in 40 years working in the Australian Thoroughbred breeding industry. How are you finding it now? You're obviously Almavale Thoroughbreds, you've developed, you've expanded now to have, the property here that you're producing yearlings, you've got beautiful mares and young horses. How are you feeling right now about the industry?
Very good, in a good place actually. I know the industry's going through a bit of a hard time at the moment, but basically we're good. Everything's good. Very happy with the way this place, how we've developed Almavale Scone and Almavale here at Kitchwin Hills. It's just going really good. We've got very good staff, which is very important.
Yeah, we'll talk about the staff soon, because it is interesting how, someone with your experience, you're so widely respected by younger people, which is really hard to do. But just let's go back a bit, and start off with some of the early days. I mean, you used to ride track work. You've done the hands-on racing stuff. You spent 12 years at Woodland Stud, and we'll talk a bit more about that. But tell us just some of your early, what made you want to be in this industry?
Well, I always loved animals, and I had a owner next door, on the next door farm. He was a dairy farmer, but he had trotters. I got interested in the trotting, and then he let me drive a couple because he used to train them at home, and that's how it all started.
And then the transfer to thoroughbreds, how did that come about?
I used to show jump a lot of ponies for a dealer. I used to show them, then she would sell them on. I would get the ribbons, she would keep the prize money. I got to ride a lot of different horses, and then she stepped into thoroughbreds, and that's how it all started. My love of thoroughbred.
They're an incredible breed, but I just love, obviously I've been fascinated, and you as well now, the generations, once you start following the thoroughbred breeding industry in particular, and we were just sort of, waxing lyrical off air about the pedigrees and the names, and they're still in the pedigrees today. So tell us about your early days at Woodlands. Of course, Peter Flynn was an incredible stud manager, but what are some of your best memories of being there at Woodlands?
Look, I just loved Woodlands. It was an amazing farm to work for. It was a very good culture there at Woodlands. Peter Flynn was an amazing mentor. Number one, a horseman, but two, he was also a gentleman. And he loved bringing young staff and teaching them. And he recognised in me that I loved horses, and I was passionate about what I did. And also I really cared about the horses. It didn't matter if you worked till 10 o'clock at night. It didn't worry us. We're a good team. Yeah, I've had some very good memories of Woodland Stud, amazing memories.
Some of those pedigrees, we were talking about Ice Cream Sunday, and, going back through Loyal Lyric and Yell and Flavour and all these horses that came through, horses that I used to love, back from when they were racing, generations ago. But you were hands-on with them. So you remember, you roll those names off your tongue too, like, Flavour and...
Sports, Guineas, little wee horse with a sway back and undershot jaw, but he was so sharp, unworldly. We had some amazing horses come through our hands.
Obviously Godolphin have a lot of those families that they're still racing and breeding, but it was quite incredible what the Inghams did in that era, isn't it? And it's so good to see Deb Capitas and John Ingham and other members of the family that are still so engaged.
Exactly, and that is good to see the younger generation carrying it on. That's very important. And Jack and Bob Ingham were gentlemen. They knew every staff member that worked for them and always spoke to them in their name. So that was pretty incredible, because there's a lot of people that don't do that.
All those horses, when you mention them to people that remember the era, they were consistent horses, they were tough, they raced on and on and on. And as I said, you're still seeing them in all these pedigrees today.
You do, it's amazing. And remember, back in those days, we didn't have x-rays, we didn't do scopes. So these horses were just reared on the hills, bought in, did their pre-breaking in, then went to the breaker. you didn't interfere with them like we do now.
But it's Lonhro in full flight, providing another
And through that era, you actually foaled down Lonhro. I mean, tell us a bit about that. You know, a horse of the year, champion Australian stallion. There are very, very, very few horses who achieve that. What were your memories of him? He was the last born foal from memory at Woodlands that
At
year, wasn't
Woodlands
he?
Stud, he was the very last born foal, and he got to his feet, and she hadn't even got up, the mare, and he was galloping laps round the mare, and then he'd pull up and he'd gallop round the other way.
Incredible.
He was just born to run.
An incredible influence, of course, Lonhro, and you know he's now had Piero, who was a champion 2-year-old. He's had so many great staying horses, but you also have fond memories, of course, of his sire in Octagonal.
Yeah, Octagonal, I foaled Octagonal's very first foal, which was a filly foal, and he was an amazing horse too. I know Lonhro's the best horse he left, but he was an amazing horse.
And then, of course, Widden Stud, where again, you know, you foal down, you know, over nearly 400 mares annually. Tell us about Widden, because again, these are historic Australian thoroughbred properties.
Well, Widden was an awesome place to work as well. Loved Widden. Just a famous property. I worked with some good people out there as well. Dave Merrick, he was amazing. He was a good friend, but he was also an amazing horseman. And he was very good with staff as well. He had that laid back, good attitude. Didn't tell them to do things, he asked them.
So tell us now, because I see the respect that you have from people here at Almavale, you know, Oscar and Zoe, and obviously you've got Bo, who's just fabulous. You've got, you know, staff ranging in levels of experience in the industry. But the one thing I do notice about the way they all talk to you is they have enormous respect for you, same as you did with Peter Flynn and some of those people, or Dave Merrick. You've communicated what you want them to do, but you're doing it in a way that they actually listen. How do you do that?
I always ask them, and I don't tell them, and I'm prepared to do it myself. If they can't do it, I'm prepared to do it myself and show them. And I explain to them the right way. Don't talk down to them. That's where a lot of people make the mistake. They snap at their staff. It's very easy to harbour grudges. I've brought a lot of people, young people on, and I've loved that. Peter Flynn used to put a lot of the young vets with me, and they'd do night watch with me or work with me during the day. And I think there's a lot of vets that I brought up that have done things that they wouldn't normally do and learnt things.
For them, I guess, to have someone that they can talk to and feel that they trust too, that's a really big thing.
Trust is a big thing in this industry. You know, people tell you things, or you have staff members that come up and talk to you and they've got a problem. You just keep it to yourself. You sort the problem out, usually. So you've got to be a marriage counsellor. Oh, look, it gets a bit tough sometimes because it's very easily to be swayed and take things personally. Yeah.
And everyone's living, eating, sleeping, breathing this industry. It's a tough industry too to be in for a lot of staff.
It's very tough, and it's very tough for young staff because sometimes they feel they're not part of a team because when they start out. So it's very important to mentor them properly and bring them on because everybody has something that they excel at and you've just got to find it.
Do you see any difference? We keep hearing the millennials or this generation or that generation. Do you really see much difference, or everyone, you know, needs to find their groove no matter what age? Is there a difference in the younger generation today?
No, there is a big difference in the younger generation today. A lot of them don't really want to be here. So to do this job, you've got to love it. You can't worry about the hours you're working or, you know, you're doing a little bit extra time. Don't worry about it. Learn what you've got to learn and get on with it. You get a long way in this industry if you work hard, you're honest, and you notice things. And that's what I find now. A lot of the young ones don't observe it enough. Just simple things like shutting gates.
Yep.
If the gate's open, they'll just leave it open. Or they'll walk through it and leave it open. And you've got to repeatedly tell them, and then they get offside, then you've got to bring them back round.
Is it a lack of empathy, or are they too busy looking at their phones, or what
Too
is
busy
it?
looking at their phones.
Yep.
I mean, I'd like to ban phones, but then you have an emergency and you need them. It's twofold.
The horses that you've had a personal role in breeding and being involved with, there's a champion New Zealand sire called Poisier.
Yeah.
His full brother, Divine Prophet, a Caulfield Guineas winner.
Yes.
Tell us about, you know, how they came to be and your role with them.
Well, I originally got asked if I'd take the mare, Prophet Jewel, on. She was a difficult mare. She was very temperamental. So she had Pro Sir first. He's now champion sire, like you said. Divine Prophet. He was also a stunning horse. Tony Falcone, who owns Prophet Jewel, who was a very good owner, and he's been a good, loyal owner for a long time. He still owns Prophet Jewel. She's 25 years old. She is an amazing mare. She's now a granny, and she's a cranky old tart, but she absolutely loves being a nanny.
You have the property at Scone, as you said.
Yes.
Working in here with the Browns, it's, they've set this up, and some bloody good horses have come off this property, and over the last decade or more.
Yeah, they have. The Farnham out of Zaza Bar, that one, and that was off this property. This property's bred some fantastic horses. The land's very much like in New Zealand, with the rolling hills, and there's always good feed here. We seem to always have good feed, even though we've had a good season. Horses just do well here.
What are some of the other horses that you've enjoyed playing a role in the lives of, who've been, great, good stakes winners?
Well, Military Rose, she won the Magic Millions. Capers, he was a very good horse. He was an honest horse. We had a lot of fun with Capers. Field of Play is a recent horse I bred, which I'm pretty rapt about. We've still got the mare, and we've got Weanling as well. Big Parade. Big Parade, I love Big Parade.
So what's the most important thing that you think when you're raising these horses, for instance, for the elite sale, for the English Easter sale?
You've got to be looking at them all the time. You've got to be able to stand back and look at them and see, right, that horse needs more condition over his top line. And you don't necessarily do it with putting gear on them. There's other ways to do it, trotting them on the walker or giving them a good long walk twice a day. The right feed, right nutrition is very important. Grooming is also very important. People don't realise how important grooming is to help build muscle and build it up in the right place. It just massages the muscle and builds it. And when they come off the walker in the morning, all our horses are wiped down. So with a damp cloth, they're all wiped down, their nostrils are clean, they're all wiped down, legs are hosed. Then they go on their boxes, finish their breakfast. The staff give them a break then. They go and have their smoko, they'll come back, then they groom them all. And the bucket of water's changed all the time, and it's hot water with a little bit of mess. We put mess in the water, which is very good for them too. And it keeps the bugs off them, the mozzies and that.
Rather than fly spray non-stop.
Yeah. Some horses don't like it, and some react different with it, so they can come out in lumps. So you just got to try and do things a little bit more natural. I don't like the yearlings being hit. I like people to be natural and calm around them. You go in to pick up manure in the box, you don't have to hunt them out of the way. You just got to pick it up and just muck around in there and walk back out. Some people haven't been taught the right way. It has to be treated kindly, and they've got to like you being in the box, not think you're going to do something that they don't like. Our yearlings go out in the yards a lot as well. We've got lovely grass yards, and they might go out for all day Saturday or all day Sunday. So we do give them a break. They don't work every day. You cannot work a horse 7 days a week. And it's very good for their minds. They know they're going out, they get excited because they know the routine, and also they like to come back in. Horses love routine. And there's a lot of times when I'm at a sale and I watch the handlers with the horses, I'll take a certain handler off that horse because they're not getting on with it and the horse is resenting them. So you swap, you get a good result. It takes one bad parade and you lose a sale.
How does the industry sell itself to the people that think it's cruel?
I don't think it's cruel. I think there's a lot crueler things than what we do. Our horses show it. They're all happy. Our foals are happy. You can usually go out in the paddock and catch any mare you want. So they're happy. And if you were being cruel to them, you wouldn't be able to catch them. You wouldn't be able to catch them in a box. You wouldn't be able to catch them in a yard.
And then looking ahead at what you want to achieve here, you've already won the Murray Bain Award for service to the industry in 2016. You've been nominated for the Australian Stud and Stable Staff Awards in the breeding, dedication to breeding category. So, you have huge respect from the industry. What do you want to achieve right here at Alma Vale Thoroughbred, say in the next 5 years? What's sort of the thing that'll give you the most satisfaction?
Rearing good racehorses and staff that want to do the job. That gives me a lot of satisfaction, a lot.
And the state of the industry, I mean, you know, as you said, it's hard getting some staff, you know, there are issues, sort of headwinds about, you know, the industry, but it's still a bloody good industry, isn't it? I mean, really and truly, when you look at the crowds you can get at the races still, the people that are still investing at the top end, and there are still plenty of small breeders having a lot of fun. You know, the doom and gloom you hear, it's a bit over-egged, isn't it?
It is over-egged. The doom and gloom, it's blowing out of proportion. You've got to really love what you do, and every morning I wake up, I still want to go to work. I still love what I do. I love the staff I've got working for me. I just love the horse.